Everyone needs storage nowadays. Whether you are using a mobile phone, tablet, iPad, desktop, notebook, or even a bigger picture for the bigger organization, they are using a data center. We all need to save our data a safe place so that whenever we need to access the data, we can have all the ways to access and utilize whatever we have saved inside those storage. But the next question comes always in our mind, especially when you have to move from one place to another. What is a way to carry your data with you? The one traditional way is to simply carry your external drive with you. But how about a bigger data center? It's very hard for them to carry their data or the storage with them. So that's how the NAS comes into the picture. We called it network attached storage. So today, guys, we are going to talk about the traditional way of storing our data, which is NAS nowadays. Still, it is in use because we called it as a private cloud. And the second we will talk about in this video is Azure Storage account. What is that? Let's talk about in details later. My name is Harsh Changra, and in this video we will try to understand what is the difference between NAS and cloud storage. Especially we will talk about in this particular video is all about Azure Storage. So guys, let's begin. Network attached storage. I'm pretty sure the people who is using NAS nowadays, they'll be pretty much loved this NAS storage because they can access their data from anywhere they want, anytime they want. But the next question is how the NAS is in use nowadays, because traditionally we stored our data into one particular hard drive, especially if you are using a desktop or a laptop. For the desktop you can attach multiple hard drives, but if you are using a laptop or a tablet, there's no way you can add additional hard drive. You always need to carry the external hard drive. But let's take an example. Now, the world is keep changing and everybody is trying to use tablet all around or the mobile phones to do most of their daily stuff. Then everybody needs to access their data remotely or using a wireless storage or wirelessly wherever they go, so that they can simply save their data securely for their own personal thing. Like if they have a personal images, videos, they would like to save their storage, especially to their personal cloud, so that whenever they want to access, they can access it and nobody else have the privilege to see their data. But with the NAS, definitely there are some advantages and some disadvantages come. But let's talk about how NAS actually works and how it is going to be used in today's world for everybody. The first thing is in NAS, actually it is network connected storage. So if I try to give you the example on this side, let's imagine you purchase this box, and in this box currently you have a 10 terabyte of hard drive. So right now in your home, there are many people lived and everybody would like to access or store their data securely and safely to a specific device, so that if their main device is lost, they can still access their data. So NAS is also considered a part of a backup solution for some people, and they always take a backup of their devices or their laptops straight to the NAS while they on the move. Actually, especially they are outside their home, they don't need to carry this box. Simply it is connected through internet and they can access securely their database, or whatever they are using, or data or images, files, anywhere they want. Another thing is the good thing and good advantage for NAS is right now you can see in this box we can have 4 different slots. In each slots you can attach additional disk. So as an example, this 10 terabyte of disk is about to finish. So you can simply add additional storage for, let's say, 10 terabyte extra. And 10 plus 10, it becomes 20 terabyte for you. Similarly, you can add more storage to the NAS and it can keep increasing your storage overall. But that's the great and flexibility of the NAS, and yeah, everybody loves it actually. So before to jump in on advantages and disadvantages of NAS, let me show you how you can access your storage straight in the operating system. Because what I have done, I have purchased my WD drive and I have connected through my storage, and I have also attached that storage to my one of the operating systems, so that I can simply access that data from anywhere I want when I'm on the move, especially I'm traveling from one country to another country. Let me show you. There are two possible ways to access your NAS. One, simply use the application offered by this organization like WD. They have an application called MyCloud. Download that, recognize your device, and access your data. That simple it is. Of course, you need to configure your drive with a specific email ID. You can log in that email ID to your MyCloud application, and it will allow you to access your data after that. Also, another way is you can also make a network connection of your particular drive, because here in NAS, I have connected my WD drive with a specific drive here in the network location. And if I access this simply like a normal drive you're accessing, you don't even know that this drive exists on your machine or not. You simply need to access it if you have a good connection. Obviously, if you don't have a network connection, it won't allow you to access it. But if you have, then you can simply access your drive and you can access your data wherever inside, media, files, and anything. So actually, this is the eye of my kid and I simply loved it. All right, so I have some updates, so I will leave for now. Or I simply close it. And of course, I can also create these files with a simple touch. For example, I create a file called Harsh file, and I can type. This is a NAS example. Pretty simple it is. I simply save, and that to be all. So obviously, if I configured my NAS on my mobile phones or even another tablet or even another desktop or PC, I can simply see this file and I can start editing where I actually left. So this is pretty simple way to access your NAS. And yeah, obviously it is secure, so you don't need to worry about that. So I think it's pretty much it, and you get my point, what I'm trying to imply here. I can tell you one thing. Now, if you go to the any forums or article where people talk about NAS and cloud storage, you can find lots of arguments, lots of fights, like which one is really good. But I will leave up to you guys so that you can decide which one is good for you. But let me help you to at least share some advantages and disadvantages of NAS and the cloud storage as well. So the very first point before to start, I would like to mention in the advantage, yes, you can add multiple hard drives into the NAS box. It depends on you, what kind of box you have purchased and how many hard drives you can configure inside that. Not only this, if you're already aware about the technology called RAID, it will be really, really helpful if you would like to consider if one of the hard drive fails and you still would like to access your data from another drive. So please don't forget to configure RAID inside your NAS box. It's really a great way. Although it's not a full secure way to store your data, because if anything goes wrong with the NAS box, everything is gone. So for that scenario, you have to purchase two NAS boxes, one for storing your live data and another one for storing your kind of backup of your main live data. So it just have a kind of synchronization or a kind of replication from one NAS box to another NAS box to store your data. So that's the way you can definitely configure. And we all call this as a private cloud. I will tell you why we call it as a private cloud. But let's begin with the first advantage. So as a first advantage, yes, we already know that the NAS is always connected to the network or the internet so that people can access their data from anywhere they want at any time they want. It's really a great way, and it's moreover the hot swappable as well. Like if you can, if the disks are running, you can simply pull out, pull in as well. Some of the NAS boxes are coming with this kind of features as well, but I don't want to make you confused. Right now, it just understand that we can access NAS from anywhere we want and at any time we want. The second point is, yes, these NAS boxes is considered as a part of a backup as well. Obviously, I can see even personally, I'm also taking my photos, my media backup straight to my NAS so that, whenever I need, I simply go to home and I can have all the access of my files. Especially in one condition, I'm using it right now because I have Nikon N7. Or is it Z7? Sorry, not N7, Z7. So that camera, if you take a picture, the one picture is considered as a 52 MB of size, which is a huge size for me for my mobile phones. So what I'm always doing, like I copy that Z7 file to my mobile phone using the snap kind of application from Nikon and simply transfer my data to my NAS box. So I go home, I pull out that data and try to edit my pictures. I will share with you in the future that the clicks of mine. So please stay tuned with me. All right. So next one is all about the media streamer. Actually, I personally love it because my family actually like it so much. I have copied lots of movies, lots of game inside my NAS, and I actually created a small application with the help of my friend. I'm not an application junkie, and I don't know much about how to create an application. But anyway, let's come back to the point. So actually, I have stored my data, and I have given access to my whole family. So wherever they are, they can access the photos, they can enjoy their videos, they can play games together. So that's sort of advantages you can get from your NAS. And the last and a very, very important point, the data is managed by you. You are the administrator of everything stored on this NAS. Nobody else except you can see data, can access data. If you authorize someone, then it is one condition. Yes, the another person who is authorized can see your data, but except you, nobody else can see data. I want to repeat that again, and you have a complete control of your private cloud. That's why we call it as a private cloud, because it is all managed by you. You are the one who is, authorized and authoritative access of everything inside of that NAS. I think you get my point in the advantages, and it's really, really a great way to storing your data. If you don't want to share this data with anyone else in the world, even with a cloud storage, because this particular NAS sometimes come with the disadvantages, which I call as a disadvantages. But again, as I said, it's arguable. If you would like to argue, that's fine. But let me at least help you here. The first thing is it's not highly available. That's a very important point. Not highly available means if anything goes wrong on this NAS box, what about that situation? You lost your everything. I mean, you lost your data, especially in one condition or in one situation where you only have one NAS box. You have not configured replication from one NAS box to another, because if that is a scenario, then yes, at least you will have a kind of a secondary box where you can access or you can get your data back anytime you want. So that's one point, but I still consider as not highly available, because if both boxes lost, you have lost completely your database or your data, whatever has been stored. The second thing is the scalability issues. Yes, let's take this box as an example. We have only 4 boxes right here, or 4 slots here. So I can only attach maximum 4 disks, but not after that. So the scalability is another question all the time. And also, not only that, if you would like to decrease the storage, yes, I can pull out those storage, but you already spend money for the hard drive. I think it's not really a good point that you can simply remove your hard drive and keep it somewhere safe, unless there's any data inside. But yeah, if there's nothing inside that particular drive, that means we kind of spend money for no use actually. So always a question about the scalability, especially when we are using a NAS. And the third important thing is security concern. But again, it is again arguable, because some organization, let's say if I'm using a WD, My Cloud, they also provide My Cloud application for mobile phones, tablet, desktop. You can use it and securely you can access your data from anywhere you want. And some boxes are coming with no security features. In that situation, it's really very hard to keep your data safe. Although I don't know if it is really, really good to say at the moment that MyCloud or even other Seagate or any other organization who is providing NAS can also give you a foolproof security, because if your data is flowing over the internet, so yeah, hackers are right there and sometimes they fetch your data, because if it is encrypted, that is a good point. But if it is not, or they are able to decrypt your data, that means you lost your authenticity, and you lost your credibility to access your data, and people can definitely ransom for that data, whatever they've been accessed. So my always question in my mind, hey, I'm able to access my data through NAS, but it is really secured. So let's do one thing. Let's talk about a little bit more on the cloud storage and try to understand more. Azure Storage. This is also called a cloud storage, just like Dropbox, Google Drive, or Amazon Drive, but with additional taste, or you can say additional options or features. So let's talk about it one by one. So there are 4 different kind of storage options offered by Microsoft Azure. Number 1, Blob Storage. Second is Azure File Shares. Third, Table Storage. And fourth, Queue Storage. But before to access all these kind of storage, we have to create an storage account. So let's create a storage account, because I'm currently in Azure portal, and I think you can also do this practice while you are learning on this particular series. So let's click on storage account. Simply you can find, or you can also search storage account right here, and you can easily access your storage account straight. Right now I don't have any storage account, so simply I need to create add. Definitely this particular video is not go into the deep. I'm just trying to give you the brief idea that what kind of storage you can have in Azure and how you can access those storage. So I specifically will talk about 2 kind of storage. 1, Blob Storage. Second, Azure File Shares. So before to access those kind of storage, we need to create first. So I'm going to choose one of my resource group I have created, and then give the name of the storage account. Actually, I have tried already, so I give the name Harsh Arena Storage at this moment. I can choose any location I want. And for the performance wise, there are 2 options, standard and premium. Obviously, if you go with the premium, you can definitely need to pay extra money. So I'm not going to talk about that, because it definitely based on the performance you need from the storage. So currently, let's move forward with the standard. And we will also talk about more that what kind of account kind you need. I mean, for example, you need a storage V2, which is absolutely a great way of storing your data with the efficient money system. I'll talk about that later, but not now. So if you choose V2, that would be great, and you can save money if you choose V2. Another is great way to understand about the storage is how you would like to store your data or your storage account. So basically we have multiple options. Here I'm going to choose GRS as of now. We will also talk about these kind of storage replication type one by one in upcoming videos. And there's another one which is called cool and hot. But right now, let me explain just hot, because hot is all about you need to access this storage account 24/7, and you can access it anytime at any second you want. That's the reason we choose hot here. But again, I'm not going to talk more on this further at this moment, but we will definitely cover in upcoming videos. Yeah, there are more options like networking, advanced options, tagging. So I'll leave right now all of this and simply click on review and create. So let's wait after this, because after that I need to simply click on create, and let's wait for to create the storage account. Once it is created, I'll be back and we can discuss further about the available options in the storage. So now our storage account is ready, and now we can discuss about one by one all of these storage options. Although I'm not going to talk and discuss about tables and queues, because that is a separate topic, and I think it would be better to cover in next video. But right now, let's talk about containers and file shares. So guys, the first call is containers, which is also called a blob storage. If you click on containers, actually it's a unstructured way of storing data. The point is actually it is a model for the objects. So any kind of data you have, you can simply store in this blob storage. Remember, by default, the storage for the blob storage is all about 35 terabyte by default, but that's a soft limit. Definitely, if you need more limit, or let's say you have a massive amount of storage and it's all about to fill and you receive the quota limitation, you need to contact Microsoft support for that, and the storage team can help you to increase the quota of the storage account. Also, they would maybe suggest you to create a new storage account if you have a huge amount of data that you would like to store in Azure at the moment. Although, let's say right now you have created this storage account, and now the next step is to create a blob storage. And to achieve that, we need to create a container. So simply click on plus container and give any name you like. For example, Harsh Blob. So any name you would like to give. Wow, it doesn't like my name. So let me try to give my small name, which is I think good here. So don't use capital just use lower case here. So that's a good learning actually. The second thing is all about the security. Definitely we also have firewall and virtual networks. We will talk about that later, but right now I would like to just choose a container so that anybody can access my container from anywhere. So once I choose this, I simply need to create new. As soon as it has been done, the next step is we need to start storing our data into this container. Remember, this is the container, or we call it as a blob storage. So you simply need to select this and start uploading your files. It's pretty simple, straightforward. So I will select a file. So wow, that's my logos actually for different purposes. So I select my logo here as an example, and I simply, I'm not going to talk about this right now, account key and all that. Simply click upload. That's it. Whatever I use as a default options, and as you can see, my file has been uploaded successfully now. However, what is the use of the blob storage? Just like NAS, you can access this data from anywhere. Similarly, you can also access your data securely through HTTPS protocol. And here's a very quick way to understand this. If I simply click on this file, it will actually open some additional options here. And if I would like to access my files, yes, one option is we just choose URL, which will help us to launch this particular file. But I would like to generate a secured access. So for that, click on Generate SAS as an example. And what kind of permission you would like to give? It's really a great way to give permission to someone in between a specific time frame so that people can only access data during that time securely. So I would like to give access between 9:14 to 5:14 a.m. And if you are ready with that, simply generate the SAS token and URL. Once you are ready, the token has been generated. Click on the URL, which is blob SAS URL. And I simply try to show you, if I click here and simply access, you can see my logo will be visible here with that specific URL, just like that. So I really find this cool, and really I loved it, because at least in my websites or any specific web application I'm using, I can simply give the link of this secured URL, and I can have access of my files straight into my websites. So I really like this, really a great way to access my blob storage. Obviously, there are many more stuff and features in blob storage. We will talk about this in the future, but I think you get my point. Just like NAS, we can also use blob storage to access our files from anywhere, even in web browser. Isn't it cool? The next one is file shares. Similarly, like I have showed access of my files through that particular Explorer, and I can easily access that network location. Similarly, you can also configure map network drive in your operating system straight using file shares. This is really a great way of sharing files in between different locations. And just imagine that you have people working around the globe, and you would like to give access of these database files, or you are on a project and you would like to share files to different peoples all together. I think file shares would be a great way of sharing your things straight to them, because what you need to do, simply modify one particular file, and everybody else who has drive mapped into their operating system with this file shares can see those changes and can access data anytime they want. And actually the great way of dealing with the file share is it actually uses SMB protocol, which is also called server message blocks. We are not going to talk about this in detail at the moment, but in the upcoming videos, I will also go through in much more details about file shares, and I will explain about the advantages of using SMBs and how you can configure file shares in the future for your operating system. But right now, just would like to share that what kind of options you can see, and how you can simply create a file share inside storage account. So as soon as you click on file shares, you can find this option, and just click on file share, and you can give any name you like. I give Harsh file share. Wow, it doesn't like my caps actually. So I give the name in lowercase. So yeah, it liked it. So and also in NAS we can give a quota. Let's say I have 100 GB of my NAS, which is a private cloud, and I would like to give a 10 GB of storage space for one particular folder. I can do that. Similarly, in file share you can also assign a quota here. So as an example, I choose wrong place. I choose 10 gigabyte of storage space for this particular file share. So as soon as this file share is ready, you simply need to create here. Click on this file share. Just like in Blob Storage, you can also start uploading your files in the file share. So click upload, select file, logo, upload. That's all. But there's a difference between Blob Storage and file share. And what is that? So as soon as your file is uploaded, you need to just click on this file. And you can simply access via URL. That is one thing, obviously. The second thing is actually if you click on connect, it's right here, this button, you can see that there are multiple operating systems available so that you can mount your file share to your operating system straight. And for that, what you need to do, for Windows, you just need to copy this whole script for the PowerShell, copy that, and simply open Windows PowerShell with administrator. And as soon as the PowerShell is open, just paste the whole, the script, and it automatically mount this file shares to my operating system straight. But again, always remember port number 445 should be allowed. We will talk about this later in upcoming videos, and remember this port. The second thing is Linux. Obviously, for Linux and macOS, there's a script available. You need to simply run this script, and it will automatically mount this file share on your operating system. I really find this file share really helpful and really a great feature to move forward with accessing my files from anywhere at any time, especially if I'm running an application project where multiple people are working together. Sorry guys, actually I was excited to show you the practical instead of just keep sharing some theoretical part. So that was the reason I explained you first in a practical, and now I would like to discuss in short about Azure Storage account or types of storage offered by Microsoft Azure. I think you get already the understanding, the basic overview of Blob Storage and Azure file shares. I think no need to explain, but let me just quickly repeat these two kind of storage. One is Blob Storage, which is completely an unstructured way of storing our files, and it is it's a very convenient way to access your data files from anywhere you want and with the security. So additionally, Blob Storage can have a massive amount of storage space where you can upload any kind of data, and especially Blob Storage is also going to be used for the storing the SQL DB's backup straight from the SQL server directly to storage account, which is directly going to the Blob Storage. This is just for your information. Even you create an Azure VM, whatever the boot diagnostics or whatever the logs is going to be generated, it's all going to be stored in particular this place, which is called Blob Storage. So Blob Storage is for everything. That's a simple way to make you understand. The second thing is about the file storage. It's really a great way of doing things together, especially when you're running a project or you are building an application. And I think it's easier way to also mount the drives for file shares directly on your operating system. It doesn't matter which flavor or what kind of operating system you are using. You can mount on both or even all of operating system available, like Mac OS, like Linux, and of course Windows. And the purpose of file share is to simply share the files with a secured protocol with the port number 445, and the port protocol we are using is SMB protocol, which is server message block. We will talk about this in the next upcoming videos. And there are two more remainings which I have not discussed in this video. These are table and queue. So we can leave it for the next video. I think it's more than enough to digest that much information at the moment. And the last one is also in the picture you can see we have a disk storage. The disk storage is all about, actually we are storing our data on the local traditional disks attached within our operating system, and of course the storage we are using for Azure VMs. But anyway, I would not like to talk about this right now in more details, because yeah, it's a kind of storage, but currently not as a part of Azure Storage account. So yeah guys, so that to be all for today, and I hope you find this video informative and it makes you understand about the storage account, or the basic concept why storage account is better than NAS or any other available storages in the world. And of course every single storage options have their own advantages. So we will talk about this in the future in more details, even with the more practical ways. So keep doing practices and stay connected, stay tuned with me. And guys, please take care of your health. This is COVID-19 situation. I hope you and your family is safe and you guys are doing well. So guys, till next video, take care of yourself. Peace.